Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 42, the place where we will always believe in the need for drums and guitars and desperate poetry. And right now, with our good friend Ryan, the host with the most. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. It's currently -3 degrees in western Pennsylvania.
So you owe somebody temperature?
Yeah.
You owe something? Like, how does that even work? It's -3?
know.
The system's messed up when you owe something. It's like -3?
It is -3. Yes, it's rather cold outside.
What does that mean? So it's like 3 degrees below,
Below zero.
and 0 is relative to what?
Well, it's 32 degrees below freezing.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so you owe temperature.
Yes, it's
Well.
my cold out. It wasn't too bad earlier today because it was all sunny and it was like 8. But
8.
yeah, I had to get out and
Like, isn't a single snowman?
yes, I had to go and snow blow my driveway. Yes, I own a snow blower.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is that like, okay. So that's kind of like a garden tiller, but
Yeah.
and a vacuum combined?
No, what it does is it's sort of
More like what are those things that you shove logs into, right?
no,
A shredder.
How this one works is kind of imagine. It's actually about the size and weight of like a push behind lawnmower,
Okay, right.
and ours will do up to 6 inches. So if it's over 6 inches, we're boned. We're just screwed. So, but this one, so you push it, and it kind of propels itself, and it picks up snow, and it has a chute on the top that shoots snow out. And it'll shoot
Where?
it at probably about 3 feet, depending on the
Okay.
type of snow. So, and our driveway is really steep. It's like 8 degrees, so we have to blow it to get up the driveway.
What if it's frozen? How do you do that?
We're screwed. If it's going to be
You're just
really
screwed.
bad, we park our cars at like the top of the hill, like in our yard at the top.
Isn't -3 degrees bad?
Well, yeah, but it's not snowing. It's just cold.
Okay. Okay. I won't tell you what temperature it is here,
So that's what like
unless you want to know.
everyone's been like, oh, it's because I have a lot of my friends down in Texas, and like they're like, oh, it's 60 degrees. I'm like, well, when it's 110 in the summer for y'all, we're really. And it's 85 here. I think the average high here in August is like 87 degrees or something like that. So, so we
So do you?
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we get it back during the summer. It might be kind of miserable during the winter, but during the summer, that's when it's going to be great.
Do you think that you have more, on average, like per year, better temperature days than we do?
What I would consider better temperatures, yes.
Right. Well, yeah, like that classic like 70 to 85 degree sunny. Just that good,
Maybe.
because it's 74 today.
Wow, that's warm.
Yeah.
Like I think it's been above 40 like 5 days since I moved here.
It's when what?
I think it's been above 40 like 4 or 5 times since I moved here in October.
No, thank you.
I don't know. I like it, but I like the cold. So it's all about dressing right. Once you get the clothes, like the right clothes for it, it's not a big deal.
Right? Like there's no such thing as bad weather. There's just inappropriate clothing and or inadequate forms of transportation.
Pretty much, but I mean, don't get me wrong. When it's snowy and really windy, like it was yesterday, like we were getting like a mini whiteout yesterday. That's bad. There's no getting around it. That's just terrible.
Yeah, was it snowing real bad?
Oh yeah, it was. Like I said, it was basically a whiteout for about 20 minutes. Like we were sitting at a restaurant, and we looked outside, and we could barely see the cars in the parking lot.
You know, one of my favorite things about driving in the snow
Hmm.
is like when it starts to snow, it's like engage warp drive because the snow's all coming towards you like something out of a Star Wars scene when you're taking off.
Hmm. This doesn't show it super well, but you can kind of see how snowy it was.
Is that at the restaurant?
Yeah.
Damn. Do you drive home in that?
No, we waited.
What happens if it doesn't stop snowing?
Well, eventually you get out, but it wasn't supposed to, check the radar. It wasn't supposed to stick around for too long, so.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, I think whatever you got yesterday turned into a little bit of rain for us today and dropped the temperatures from 80 to 74.
Dropped.
Yeah, rough life.
Oh, but, I mean, luckily up here they know how to handle the snow. Like they were scraping our road like every hour and a half. Big old trucks with scrapers.
Do they scrape the concrete or do they leave like a little bit of? I've always wondered that. Is there like a layer of slippery shit, or do they
No,
scrape
they
it all the way to the
scrape it.
concrete?
They scrape it and salt it.
So the roads are just replaced all the time, or just shitty?
Oh no, they're pretty good. They don't. I mean, they don't. I haven't seen really that many bad roads, but I've heard it really depends on what township you're in, because
Okay.
the towns do their own road maintenance and stuff.
Oh, I
The
see.
highways,
Okay.
I mean, the highways are in good shape.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I guess they're just used to it.
Yeah, and one of the thing is here is they don't get the extreme temperature changes, which makes the roads a lot easier to deal with, and they don't break as much. Because it really causes a lot of road issues is really
Right.
hot and then really cold. Because it has something to
Right.
do with the mix between concrete and asphalt, and like if it gets colder, you want more concrete, but if it's warmer, you want more asphalt or something like that.
Something like that.
I-
Yeah, the expansion and the cooling
Mhm.
and the different. Yeah, the difference. It makes sense.
And-
I mean, I'm no scientist, but you could explain it to me, and I'd be like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, the thing I have to get used to here is like the temperatures don't swing a lot like they do, especially in Oklahoma. So in Oklahoma, it wouldn't be too uncommon to see like lows in the 30s and highs in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Here
It's like that here.
low in the 20, high in the 30. Like it's a much smaller window than I'm used to seeing.
So, how was work this week?
Oh yeah, that was a thing. I've had a hard time focusing the last couple days because I got my shoulder surgery scheduled.
Don't lie about your excuses. It's because you got a new computer.
Hey,
Go on, tell everybody what you got.
let's see. We ordered the
He's
rest
been
of our
working on this rig
components.
for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's a 4 gigahertz AMD 8-core overclock edition, whatever that means. An Asus motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM, DDR3
Damn.
RAM, a 4 terabyte 7200 RPM drive, a
What's up?
16x Blu-ray with Corsair water cooling system,
Nice.
which was worth the money.
Nice.
That temperature never gets high on the box. Yeah, it's kind of funny. My wife was pissed because she could only play the new Assassin's Creed because I got her the game for Valentine's Day, and
Right.
she could only play it on very high and not ultra high. She was very upset.
Yeah, that ultra high pushes some that requires top of the line
Oh,
stuff.
It's gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gorgeous.
Even on high though, it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
You know what? If you go into customs, you can turn a lot of that stuff up to ultra high.
Mhm.
There's just a few things you can't, and that's what's holding you back when you go to ultra high.
Right.
So you can go in there and turn like I don't know. I don't know. You can go in there and turn stuff up that I find that the shadows is usually what kills me.
Yeah. I mean,
Dynamic shadows.
I did kind of. I probably went middle road with the graphics card because you can spend a lot of money on a graphics card.
Yep, I'm saving up currently for a 980.
Nice. We went with the.
$700.
Ooh, yeah, ours was 2.
But I really want to play. Yeah, that's what my last rig cost. But I really want to be able to play GTA 5 on 4K.
Yeah,
And it comes out of the box supporting it.
I've got a friend. He said that with the way graphics cards have progressed recently, and the way how graphics are, he says that like that graphics card will last you 10 years before it is outdated.
If you can, yeah, once you get finally into the 4K realm, yeah, I don't think there's no reason to really go much past that. And I'm willing to spend the extra money to get the NVIDIA, and a name brand NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna eventually invest in the G-Sync monitor, so it synchronizes the frame rate with the GPU and the monitor, so you no longer get that mid tears in the center of the screen when the GPU sends half information from one frame while hang on, let me explain it. So the screen will refresh its frame rate in the middle of the GPU sending the information for the frame. So you'll get half of the old frame and half of the new frame, and you'll see that little black line in the middle. And that's called screen tear. Well, NVIDIA sells NVIDIA with the new more expensive cards have what they call G-Sync. And you can get monitors that have G-Sync, and it synchronizes the frame rate with the GPU's frame rate. So when it comes out, each frame comes out at the same time that the screen is refreshing, so you no longer get any screen tear. No shutter, no screen tear, none of that stuff. It just makes everything ultra smooth. 60 frames is actual 60 frames.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that. But it makes a 24-inch monitor, that's normally like, say, $100. With a GeForce, I mean, not the GeForce, but the G-Sync, try $400.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, we in preparation for this, when we bought a new TV, a while ago now, we bought the LG with the IPS technology in it.
I'm glad you went with the LG. They're good.
Yeah, but have you seen the IPS stuff?
Nope, I'm not sure what that is.
It basically turns the television into a monitor. So it recognizes that it's plugged into a computer, and it changes its properties to update and refresh for a computer and not regular media or DVD or something. It's really cool stuff, and it does help with ours because we do run a lot of stuff off of it.
Do you know what resolution your screen is at? Is it like the enhanced resolution so you can see monitor text real clean?
Oh yeah, you can see it fine.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we got our media center running, which is awesome. We're using Kodi, which used to be called XBMC. Looks fantastic. We have almost have a terabyte of data. We have over a terabyte on it already. So that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, you mean like 2 Blu-ray DVDs or Blu-rays?
No.
How much are there? Like 5 gigs for Blu-ray?
Depends.
8 gigs, 32 gigs. What is it? Like a lot, right?
The straight pure rip is about, depending on the movie, between 10 and 26 gigs.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there that you can pull out though that brings down the size, but then I recompress them with Handbrake, which is a lossless form. You can do it to MKV, which is lossless, and I can get down to about 4 gigs of Blu-ray.
So you can compress, let's just say 10 gigs down to 4 gigs and not lose any information?
Nope.
Okay. How is that? Is that because it's transferring the information into a code that the algorithm recognizes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And that's just the basics, like Stupid Man version. Okay.
Yeah,
that's just how somebody would recognize it. Okay. All right. Whatever. That's cool then.
Yeah, so it's...
So you have a terabyte of a 4 gigs worth of Blu-ray DVDs, or do you have like songs?
Most of it's TV shows that I've been collecting.
You're such a hoarder of TV shows and stuff like that. Like of digital content, you're definitely a hoarder.
I have up to the most recent season of The Simpsons. Every other season beside the most recent.
Forget that you can get it on free on a website somewhere. It's like, no. I have it. I don't have to worry about that website. Like, fuck that website. It doesn't have to be up for me.
I have all of South Park. Except for, except for the most recent season. Batman the Animated Series.
Do you have the South Park with the Muhammad in it?
Yes, I do.
Is it unedited or the edited?
Well, 200 and 201, which were the big episodes that they were going to release, those were never unedited. You cannot get those. But
is there a version that exists somewhere in somebody's closet or drawer that's unedited?
Probably.
Like they created it unedited, right?
I would guess so, but it's never been released and it's never been leaked.
Wow.
But there's an episode in season 4 called Super Best Friends.
Yeah.
And Muhammad's in that one. And for 5 years or longer, Muhammad was in the opening credits of South Park.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the background.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Super Best Friends. Do you remember David Blaine, the street magician guy?
Yeah, absolutely. The guy that also did the ridiculous feats of human endurance and stuff.
Right. Well,
like held his breath for like 14 minutes or something.
I think they were kind of using him to. They were kind of poking fun at like the whole Branch Davidian thing, way back.
In Waco?
This is season 4, so it's 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. And so
right, but the Waco thing, right?
Right. And
right.
so
Where the
David Blaine has
down.
started this cult. And he builds a giant he takes over the Lincoln Memorial. So he has control of a giant giant Abraham Lincoln. And so the kids call in Jesus, and he can't do it alone, so he calls in the Super Best Friends, which is Jesus, Muhammad, Joseph Smith,
which is the creator of Mormons.
Yes, and
which, if you don't know, look up your facts, kid. We know who created that religion. You can't trust it. Like if we know the guy's name and he has a history of creating false, or what was he? He was a what was Joseph Smith? He was convicted of fraud.
For fraud and
fraud. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he also said the best way to, or he made a bet that he would create a religion, and he did. Yeah. Check your facts. We can't trust religion. You know what's funny is the newer the religion is, the less you can trust and believe in it as we go, right? Scientology gets made fun of the most because it's the newest. And then you have Mormonism because we know that one, and it's just funny as it goes. Catholics, and then Christianity, and then Islam and Jews. They get made fun of less the further you go back.
Yeah, so they.
If we know who wrote this shit down, you can't believe in it.
They decide, the Super Best Friends, with the help of. Okay, you remember Tron? Like the original Tron.
The Disney movie with the absolutely, where he's in the computer and the speeder bike.
At the very end, where like the guy's spinning in the face and stuff. He's got to throw the disc into.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so they decide that what they need to do to defeat a giant stone Abraham Lincoln is to build a giant stone John Wilkes Booth.
That seems logical.
It does. Yeah. It's like that's what they did, and he sneaks up behind. How you sneak up behind a giant stone Lincoln? He sneaks behind him and shoots him.
While he's watching a movie of some sort, right?
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched that one today. Yeah, well, we'll do.
Why? Because you're snowed in?
Well, Dad, we just really
surviving for your life. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Yesterday was Valentine's. How was that?
It was good.
You're married, right?
I'm married, yes.
How does Valentine's go for the married folk?
Well, we
say that like I'm not married, which I am.
We did gifts.
Oh yeah, what'd you get her? And if you can say that out loud.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's
besides
like half of it.
besides the D. I got Assassin's Creed, and I got her. She's been wanting the new Fitbit that keeps track of your heart rate and stuff. It's like the Fitbit
That means
Charge.
you had to get one, right?
No, I didn't get it. I don't care.
What the fuck? Yes, you have to get one. She has to have somebody to compete with.
Oh, she has friends that have them.
Oh, okay,
So,
cool.
and she got me some new house shoes, because up here you really do need some slippers. It's cold.
So, what is the average temperature of your house? Like inside?
We keep it probably about 67, 68. Like, our house actually stays pretty warm, but we both like it cooler, and helps keeps the gas bill down.
So it's -3, and you're keeping the house at 67.
Yeah.
So how cold are the walls? Like, the air may be 67, but how cold is it? You know what I'm talking about? The difference between the where the air is a certain temperature, but the walls are cold. The room feels cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. If you're like, where our couches can get kind of cold because right up against this big window, but in the bedrooms can get cold. Like, it'll probably get down into like the 40s in our bedroom.
So what? Just big blankets and socks? You just sleep in clothes, kind of thing?
Oh no, just big blankets.
Just big thick blankets.
Yeah,
That's
a couple
fun.
blankets.
I like big thick blankets and
it's
snuggling.
fantastic.
So yeah.
Like,
The only problem is it's impossible to get up.
I know, but
You're like, oh, I gotta get up, and you're like, no, I don't. Never mind.
But if you can get out of bed, you're awake because it's cold enough. You're like, oh my god.
Right? Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm up. That's funny.
Yeah. Like, I think right now we have 3 comforters on our bed.
3.
Yeah.
Do you have any electric blankets or anything?
Nah.
Those are dangerous.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it myself.
Do you have any animals? Do you have like a dog or a cat that you have to take care of?
No, not right now.
Okay.
We'll probably get a cat eventually, but
Really, even with that kind of temperatures?
they don't have to go outside.
Oh, that's true. A cat does do the litter box thing fairly well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really want a hedgehog, but Kelly keeps telling me no.
like they're spiky things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, you want one?
Oh yeah, they're super cute.
See, I think you strike me as the kind of guy who would get one of those rats. Who would have like the pet rat that are cool, they're like little dogs almost.
Yeah,
The smart ones that are kind of assholes.
I thought about it.
Yeah, you strike me as that kind of guy. Because a hedgehog doesn't have enough personality for you. Like, I think you need more of a pet, somebody that's like, because you're the kind of guy who talks shit to your pets. You need somebody who kind of talks shit back and responds, like a ferret or a rat, or I could even see him getting like a Jack Russell. You know what I mean? Where he kind of turns his head at you and it's just like, hey, don't do it, don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we really want a dog, but we're not home enough to really.
Oh, between you and her, you're both gone.
Yeah, I mean, we both work 8 to 5. You both go to the gym. I mean, so the dog would be alone for 12 hours a day, and that's just mean to the dog.
Do y'all go to the gym at the same time to like meet up after work?
We used to. We haven't been recently, just because of schedules.
Right.
Kelly works basically downtown Pittsburgh, so it can take her a while to get home.
Yeah? Is the traffic bad even?
Oh yeah, it's 8 miles from there to our house, and it takes her 45 minutes.
8 miles?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, you're on totally different terms than I am.
Oh yeah, it's
8 miles is hardly the freeway for me.
Yeah. Oh, here, like, actually, it's a pretty compressed area. But
yeah, that's weird because that's weird. Yeah, wow. Texas is just so big though. Everything's 30 minutes away at 70 miles an hour.
Well,
yeah,
that's how Oklahoma was, and it's been hard to get used to it because, like, basically in Texas everything is, you measure it in miles. It's, how far is it? Oh, it's 7 miles away. It's 12 miles away. Whatever. Here it's minutes. period. How far is it? Half an hour. That half hour could literally be 3 miles away sometimes.
It's just the wrong. That's weird.
Well,
That's cool.
The problem with a lot of it is a lot of the roads and towns were built before civil planning. Because our township was founded in like 1794.
Damn.
So, and plus our terrain is makes it hard. Like we have to go through a tunnel to get to downtown. Like through a mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
How long's the tunnel?
Maybe a mile, half mile.
Really? You ever get nervous while you're in the tunnel?
All the time.
If it's trafficy and
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, if there's a wreck in the tunnel, you're boned. You're fucked. There's no way around it. You are screwed. So there's always like 3 car lengths between me and the person in front of me when I'm in the tunnel.
how does that work if there's a wreck? Because doesn't that cause traffic like both directions? They'll have to end up closing it off and someone coming down the wrong way.
Well, no. Well, there's 2 tunnels for each. There's 1 tunnel for each direction. So, but you basically have to come in and pull the car out. Oh,
Yeah, that is
I've
miserable.
heard of people getting stuck for like 2 hours, 3 hours waiting for the wreck to get cleared and get through the tunnels.
I heard a life pro tip was to keep a candle in your glove box for in case you get snowed in because that can keep you alive. Keep a candle burning. You might want to do that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case something weird happens and your car breaks down, you've got at least a little bit of warmth, which is enough to keep you from dying in like an enclosed car. Especially if it snows in because that acts as insulation.
Right.
You might want to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
May not.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on getting our cars sort of winter proofed.
Yeah.
Like I got one of those jumper batteries, like jumper box for Kelly, so she can always jump her car no matter what.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
yeah, because cold weather kills your batteries.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's bad. Like hers, there's a couple times where hers was like it takes.
Come on, poor Honda. Yeah.
Her car stays in the garage, so that helps. Yeah, mine doesn't. And tomorrow, that's going to be very, very cold.
What tomorrow? Well, get in your car.
Yeah.
In the Saturn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Sorry for the noise.
It's alright. People were like, I never really understood the need because I don't have them. But I never really understood the need for like steering wheel warmers until I moved here. And now I want some so bad.
Do you have to do anything special to your car? Like, do you have to do like block warmers or anything?
No, it's not that bad. This is in Alaska. Or parts of Canada.
It sounds like it to a Texan.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It sounds like you're gonna die if you just go outside for a few minutes.
Well, yeah, it's not too uncommon for for like schools to get started like 3 hours late so kids don't get frostbite at the buses.
Okay, yeah, you just live in a different world than I do.
Yep. Now the good old north. I never thought I'd be here, but here I am.
You like it though?
Yeah. It's definitely taking some getting used to. The people are nice. Terrible drivers. Have you ever?
Is it the weather and the cars and the conditions that make them bad?
No.
Or if you put them in like Nevada, they'd still suck.
Oh no, they would still suck. Have you ever heard of the Pittsburgh left?
No.
Okay, so it's not just common; it's expected. Okay, say you're in an unprotected left, right? And your light turns green. If you're the first car, you are expected to make the left through the unprotected left.
So you're in the I'm in the turning lane.
No. Like say it's like one like, or yeah, you're in the turning lane, sure.
And I'm gonna get the green light, but not the green arrow.
Right.
Right, which is this light that says I can go, but I have to yield to the oncoming traffic. Y'all are gonna get the green light at the same time I do. and I'm expected to just like fishtail it around like some initial D style, just go for it.
Basically, yes. This is called the Pittsburgh left. It happens every day.
Are there? Does the second car expected to go for it, or is he
No.
expected to stop?
He's expected to stop.
So there's this unwritten rule. It's like just let the first guy go.
Yeah. Like I've been honked at because I didn't make the Pittsburgh left.
What in what way? The second guy behind you in the training wind was like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah.
Because I was gonna make it the next time. Like what?
Yeah.
That is so weird.
Okay, so I was going up a sort of one of like those 270-degree clover leaf exits. So you exit and it kind of takes you over a bridge over the interstate.
Right.
I had someone pass me in the the clover leaf in the corner, one lane. Someone passes me in the shoulder.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's something else. Like, take your life into your own hands every day.
That's why you need the Rex, man.
I know.
You need someone with a little pickup. Something that can handle those corners.
And the liquor laws are weird here.
Yeah, like you can buy it at gas stations.
No. All liquor stores are run by the state.
Really?
Yes. You can. Let's see. You can sell a 6-pack of beer if you are a restaurant. But if you, but other than that, you have to buy a case of beer from the distributor directly.
The distributor, like I have to buy it from Budweiser.
Well, the Budweiser has to sell it to people who distribute, like, so.
Like a liquor store.
Yeah. Well, no, not store. Well, not store. Like the people who get the beer to the stores are the distributors. So it's a 3-tier system. It's a federal regulation. So you have the brewers, the distributors, and then the final consumer. And so there's no, well, and then the sellers, and then the final consumer. So we go directly to the distributor, which we do get really good beer prices, but having to buy a case at a time is a bit of a bummer.
Oh, I get it. Yep, that would be a bummer.
So we have to.
We can buy a beer at a time here.
We have to buy 24 at a time from a store. Like we can go to a bar and buy a pint. That's no big deal, but we can get Yingling Lager, which is a fantastic lager. $14 for a case.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great price.
Unless you're going something really exotic, it's pretty good prices. But every once in a while, you'll spend, $70 on a case. You're like, oh, that was more expensive than I thought it would be.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think... Yeah, it's about $40 a case for what I like. I like Dos Equis.
Dos Equis is good.
Yeah, it's my favorite beer.
Just the regular green bottle. Like,
good, easy, light to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I really like their amber. The Dos Equis amber, I think, is really good.
But you're the kind of guy who can drink an IPA, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah, see, he's like, yeah, that's just beginning, Bob. I can do the 45-minute double hops IPAs. Yeah. Get me on a roll.
Now, if you ever want, just...
No, I don't.
We've actually started, because IPA is very big in the U.S. right now. Like that is sort of the big craft beers in IPA.
Right.
And so we've been me and a friend of mine, we've classified them as there's drinkable IPAs and paint stripping IPAs. Or enamel stripping IPAs is how we put it.
Right.
It feels like some of them, like the Stone IPA, which I enjoy, but the first sip, it feels like it's trying to rip the enamel right off your teeth.
No thanks.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I'd prefer to drink my aged rum. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been drinking a lot of bourbon recently. Old-fashioned style.
Like Maker's Mark or whatever did you call it?
Yeah, but an old fashioned is a drink. And right now it's pretty much done with bourbon, but it can be done with a lot of different liquors. But it's, it's like 2 ounces of bourbon, simple syrup, a muddled orange, bitters, really large piece of ice. It's pretty good. That's what I've been drinking mostly.
I like rum and Coke, or I like to just shoot shots of rum and chase it with Coke.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't like to admit to, but we picked up some of that cake vodka the other day. That stuff is so good.
Isn't?
Oh yeah, dude! Like we
never bought it off the shelf.
What we did is we had this mango orange juice from Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
You get like a pint glass. You put in like 4 or 5 ounces of vodka.
Right.
Put in the mango peach and a little bit of like grenadine. Dude, it's like a pineapple upside down cake. That gets you drunk.
And it doesn't have the bite?
Oh no, it's smooth. Smooth. Especially if you put that shit in the freezer, man. Like it seriously tastes like a birthday cake.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
It's little. I mean, it's only. Most vodkas are like 45%. I think it's like 35 or 40. So, but it still gets the job done.
Awesome. You want to know a crazy fact?
Sure.
Do you know how big a Lego Death Star would have to be like actually to scale?
How big?
About 2.1 miles. That's incredible, isn't it?
Like 1/100 scale, 1/1000 scale.
God, what is the scale of the average human is 1.6 meters tall. Let's see, a Lego person is 1.5.
Oh, scale for a Lego person?
Yeah, for a Lego. Yeah, a Lego Death Star to scale for a Lego person would be 2.1 miles.
Jeez, that's huge. That's no moon.
I think it would cost $350 trillion to build.
In Legos. Could you imagine the man hours? Like, someone's just...
just some poor dude, right?
Like some dudes in like some harness, like half a mile in the air, upside down, putting shit together.
Like Da Vinci painting the Pristine Chapel. That's funny. That's funny. Just one guy, 16 years of his life. One block at a time. Have you seen some of the crazy shit they do with Legos?
Oh, yeah. We
went to Disney World and they had the Lego World at Disney.
Oh, yeah. That's my little brother's favorite place in the entire universe.
Don't blame him. It's not a bad place.
Like the dragon in the water.
The dragon in the water. That's exactly what I was going to tell you about. Yeah, the dragon in the water. Hell yeah. Yeah.
And last time when I was there, they had... who was it? I think it was a Pixar character, like a 15-foot tall Pixar character outside.
I think it's Buzz and Woody.
It is Buzz and Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
cool.
it is. Let me think.
Sounds right.
Because I was just there. I don't think it's inside, though. I think there's a Woody and a Buzz inside you can take pictures with. But they're life-size. I think outside was something else. There was the... Anyway, I got pictures. Maybe I'll post some of them in the show notes.
Nice.
Yeah,
the show notes we always talk about and never, ever, ever do.
Well, you should post some of this.
Hey, man, I do everything else. Your job is the show notes.
Ouch. Daggers.
I love you, Ryan.
You don't love me. Okay, you might love me. All right, fine. I found a cool website that people might want to check out. So you know how you ever heard of like Freakonomics?
Yeah.
Where they go through and they try to find correlations between unpleasant facts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's interesting. And they find facts that are fun. Well, I found a website.
Okay.
And I don't know what it makes me think of Freakonomics, because before I found this website, I thought a lot of Freakonomics. But then I found this website. All right, and it'll be in the show notes. You can post our Skype links in the show notes. But what it is it's a website that goes through and finds random correlations. And it's funny, and they're really very close. So like U.S. spending on science, space, and technology, correlating between suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation between 1999 and 2009. They almost mirror each other, and it's just funny. You can find the number of people who have drowned by falling into a swimming pool correlates with the number of films that Nicolas Cage appeared in by that year. Per capita consumption of cheese correlates with the number of people who have died by becoming tangled in their bed sheets.
Where's the...
Which one?
I'm looking. Correlation. I guess that's R squared. Sorry, my statistics training is taking over a little bit.
Okay, hang on. You explain to people why this is wrong, and I'll be right back.
Okay, well, no, it's not really wrong. It's just... let's see here. So, in this graph, it could look... Like, it looks right, and it looks like... it'd be very interesting to see the percentages. So, even though they correlate, I mean, it's 99% correlation. It may not be as close as it appears. I'd really have to look at the numbers. But it's interesting, nonetheless.
Anyway, thought it was a fun website.
Yeah, the Nicolas Cage one feels like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a stretch even when you look at the graph.
Yeah,
but it's fun to...
The problem with the correlations is the over time, like especially the science, space, and technology one, that's pretty close. But it's how they interact over time that is weird. Because I mean, it's not horribly uncommon, but it does have. But because a lot of times, because generally predictors like this, things that are correlated, one is sort of predicting the other. It's leading. And a lot of these, they go back and forth between being the leader and being, or leading or lagging.
I find the one between the honey production of bee colonies and the juvenile arrest of possession of marijuana, they almost inversely mirror each other, like really well. I thought that one was interesting.
That is interesting.
But they have nothing to do with each other. Like they're not connected at all. This is an example of being able to mine data after the fact. This is just like confirmation bias. This is all this is.
Well, then
they most likely had a program that had all of this information already in it, and then they just found things that matched, that had, that had graphs that were close to each other, and then shrank them down and, expanded them to make them look good. But I just think it's funny, and it makes you wonder about Freakonomics. Could that, whatever. It'll be in the show notes. Something fun to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. Freakonomics is interesting. I read the first book.
Theirs is they have a little bit more thought and a lot better proof behind there.
They're also trying to do different things, and more of it's like looking at least in the first Freakonomics, it was more of looking for economic principles in weird places.
Right.
Like, does what we believe to be normal economic thought hold up in drug trade? Stuff like that. Which for the most part does. You have your
fun.
You have your it's very supply and demand. You have your increase for an illegal good. You have your tulips, all sorts of good stuff.
It was a great book.
Yeah, whenever I do my PhD, I want to do that for MMOs take an economy, a game economy, and see how close it mirrors what we believe to be real economic thought or accepted economic thought. Because I have a theory that real economics, especially like the stock market, are going to be moving and are moving closer and closer to game economy than the other way around.
Well, you have to write a paper and then explain it to me because I'd never understand it otherwise.
Well, okay,
anyway,
so the idea
sounds interesting.
is because I'll just give you the rundown real quick.
Too long, didn't read. Can I get that version?
Okay. MMO economies, especially large enough ones, WoW, Destiny,
Diablo.
Yeah, big ones. They ought to have very specific, they ought to be very specific and very quickly moving because everything can be instantly done. Right.
They are that way. They're very much like day trading.
Well, and that's the thing is now and things are moving so fast now that I think we're getting more to that, and which speed does help to bring in the irrational consumer, which causes issues. Like, did you know there are traders who have direct pipelines into the stock exchanges?
Yes, I know all about that. I know all about that they passed the regulations in New York that all data servers that are connected to the stock market have to have 315 feet or whatever it is. Like there has to be a standardized amount of feet between the server and the main server that connects them to the pipeline, because there can't be an advantage by having a foot. If your cable is a foot shorter than another person's cables, then when you're doing the high volume trading, that extra billionth of a second in information, being able to transfer that information equates to an advantage.
Right.
So they had to make it where all of that was standardized. So even if you're 1 foot away from the backbone, or if you're 315 feet away from the backbone, the farthest away you could be, they all had the same amount of cable so that no one had an advantage. Did you hear about the guy that built the pipeline from New Jersey to, I don't remember where he built it to, but it's a straight line from two really important places in the stock market, like Boston and New York or something.
And his is Chicago and New York.
It's Chicago and New York or something like that, and it's more straight than the other line by 20 feet, but allows him to transfer information at a thousandth of or billionth of a second faster than the competition. So essentially, everybody has to use his line, otherwise they're behind. And it's a monopoly, is what one of the competitions tried to argue. And he's like, no, other people could use their other line. It's just I just have an advantage.
Right.
That's not, yeah. And he won. He wins the argument. And it's just y'all are arguing over billionths of a second.
Hey man, when billions of dollars are riding.
Fuck that. That's where Skynet's going to come from.
Oh no.
Anyway, I got a more fun question than stock market bullshit.
All right.
What's your most expensive fuck up?
Most expensive fuck up.
Yep. Where you were like, ooh, that shit happened. Life's grand. Everything's fun. Next thing you know, 14 grand in the hole.
I had a car blow up on me.
Yeah?
And maybe shouldn't have bought, but I was lied to. Lawyers were involved, but that cost me about $8,000.
Yeah?
Yeah. That Mazda 3 Speed.
Great
Or
car.
Mazda Pro J Speed. That's what it was.
Great car. You want to know mine?
Yeah, of course.
So when me and you were younger, we rollerbladed. Aggressive inline, right?
Right.
And I secretly always wanted to skateboard. But there was a lot of peer pressure to either be a rollerblader or a skateboarder, and my group was rollerbladers, so I was a rollerblader. No big deal. I really enjoyed rollerblading, and it was one of the main reasons we were such good friends. But I always wanted to be a skateboarder. So when my son turned 7, he wanted a skateboard. And at this point in my life, I live in apartments and I have a job and I have money. So I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go get skateboards. I didn't say fuck yeah to my 7-year-old, but the equivalent of a 7-year-old, like, hell yeah, dude. Or not even hell, but whatever, right? So we go get the skateboards. And we're skateboarding in the parking lot for a few days or whatever, no big deal. And he was like, Dad, can we go to a skate park? And at this point, the neighborhood or the community that I lived in has free mini skate parks all over the place, which usually consists of maybe like a quarter pipe and like a fun box and maybe like a big giant concrete hill that's real smooth and maybe like a little bit of a wave hill that you can ride on, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the one that I was like, well, let's go to one of those skate parks and we'll just ride around and we'll go up and down those little ramps. So we're hanging out one day and it's me, him, and my little brother, and we're riding on our skateboards. And I get tired. You know, it's just like towards the end of the afternoon. It's like, all right, we've had enough. We've been riding for a while. And we've been riding down this little fun box that has like, imagine you had stairs. So you got like a 6-inch drop, a foot-long stair, 6-inch drop, foot-long stair, right?
Right.
But imagine instead you have a 6-inch drop, a foot-long stair, and then the rest of it is just a wedge ramp. It's just smooth. So like those stairs just have like a piece of plywood or a piece of metal that goes all the way down smooth. And you're just supposed to jump off the fun box down the one stair and then ride down the wedge. Well, everybody's like, all right, let's go home. And I'm like, all right, well, let me do it one more time. I just want to do it one more time because we've been doing it all afternoon.
Famous last words, man.
One last time. So I ride around, I go over the thing, I go over the wave hill, I come back down, I go over the fun box, I come down across the flat top, and I go to ollie. And when I go to ollie, it's like click, and the board just kind of disappears. And I just imagine doing a slow motion cartwheel, right? So you're just kind of rotating with your belly stays the same direction, but your head starts to go up below your feet. So you're turning to your left. That's the direction I was going anyway. So I'm just kind of rotating to the left, sideways, head over heels. But I'm doing it so slow that when I get to where I'm going to land, I'm either going to land on my hands and catch myself and like hit my back, like my head, or I could like tuck and roll for it. Well, what I did for the whole flip is keep my hands out, like I was just going to put my hands down. But at the end, I was like, oh, that's going to hurt. I should roll for it. So what I do is I tuck my arms and like drive my shoulder in like I'm going to try to roll backwards, but I don't do it in time. And I land on my shoulder and my head right here like a wedge, and my legs go kind of over this direction like a scorpion, and I land on just that left shoulder and everything drives over, and then I flip over horribly. 14 grand to fix my shoulder.
Wow.
And that doesn't even count for the damage and suffering. You know, when they talk about suing for damage and suffering, It's like, I get it. My arm hurts every day and every night of my life. It always hurts. I have a $5,000 titanium plate in my shoulder that has 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and then it goes down around my shoulder and has 2 screws there. Ugh, that's an expensive fuck up and a painful one at that.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm only 27 or 28 when I do it, and I expect to live to be like at least 100, right?
Yeah,
you know, because modern day technology and medicine, 100. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm getting my surgery this week. I'm in pain every day. You know, it's not as bad as what you did, but still, you know, tear in the shoulder.
Right.
Torn ligaments and shit. At least it's not a rotator cuff. They thought it was originally. I'm like, shit, that's 8 weeks in a sling. But luckily, I think we can get out with 1.
I did 6 weeks in a shoulder sling.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first 3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
I told the guy that gave me the pain medicine when it first happened, like the first time I go see the doctor, before the surgery or anything, like just the next day after it happened. So it happens at 7:00 at night, and I'm at the emergency room till midnight because the emergency room sucked where I was at. And I was in the waiting room for 3 or 4 hours with a shattered collarbone and shoulder socket, whatever. The next day I go to the doctor and he gives me hydrocodones or something. And they're not strong enough. I'm 200 pounds and I don't know, alcohol doesn't really work on me and neither does like painkillers. Like they're just not very strong for me. So I tell the doctor that, and I guess he takes that as a because they'd given me that night at the emergency room. So the next day when I see the doctor, I tell him that, thinking he would give me something stronger than hydrocodones.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, what he takes it as is you're allergic to hydrocodones. Here, take these tramadols instead. And they don't have, those don't do anything for anybody ever. Those are like weak Tylenol, dude. So I spent 3 days in the most excruciating pain that I've ever gone through in my life before I got back to the doctor and he prescribed me some hydrocodones. And even those weren't that strong. Because I don't know, everybody's afraid of people getting addicted to painkillers. But I'm like, I'm the guy falling victim to the fact, like I need it. Like, give me something that puts me to sleep. Dude, for 2 days, I could not move. Just blinding white light. Just any movement in my shoulder at all would just sing. That little white light that goes through, that like a TV turning off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Avoid that, children.
Oh. Yeah, man, I'm still paying for some of those injuries.
Yeah. I'll always pay for this one.
We all took Aaron's advice, and that was just the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, Aaron was an idiot. We should have thought about that, though. The fact that Aaron was an idiot, we should have thought about the fact that Aaron's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you can work on nuclear bombs doesn't mean you should be making life decisions for us. It's like, by the time we're old enough for it to matter, they'll have a cure for it. Turns out that's not true.
Yeah, it wasn't we weren't ready for that one. Oh my God.
30 years wasn't that long. It wasn't that far away.
Yeah.
It was fun to be that way, though.
Yeah, it was 16.
It was fun to be 16 and thinking 30 was a lifetime away.
I felt it at the time.
It did. And I hope to keep that perspective when I have my children at 16, 18. I'd just be like, okay, man, I get it. You think this is the most important thing that's ever happened to you ever. Because it is.
I mean, yeah, because they've never had their heart broken. They've never,
I've gotten laid. Yeah, they haven't. I get it. But I'm also a dad, so it's hard to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah, like I tell people, it's like the best thing that can ever happen to anyone is one just absolutely vicious heartbreak. This is one of the best things that can happen to anybody. Because when you get through it, you know it sucks, but you can get through it.
Right.
Because, because every time you have that first bad one, and it just, it feels like the entire world's going to end, and then you get over it and find someone new and...
Just avoid getting that one pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me on that one, children.
Right.
You want another question?
Go for it.
You remember the movie Castaway?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the fact that he doesn't open one of the packages?
Right.
He keeps one of the packages as his driving force.
Right.
If you were the director or the whatever, what would you have put in the package?
Oh, I don't know, like a book or something non-sequential or
really. You wouldn't have put something fun like an emergency satellite phone, something crazy like that, or a survival
where
kit.
It's going to, I mean, maybe it was porn. It would have been kind of funny if it had been porn.
That'd have been funny. That'd have been great. Porn. Okay. Yep. We're both going with porn.
But he got some nookie from that girl that he delivered the package to. So
yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. Everybody should watch that movie.
With the package is one of the MacGuffins.
What? Like what's in the box?
Yeah. Well,
moments.
A MacGuffin in cinema is a term that is used to describe a thing that is because it has to be. It drives the plot.
Like the box and Ronin.
Like the box and Ronin,
You have no idea what's in the box, the papers, but you have no idea what's on those papers. Like why they're so important. The package,
the Ark in Raiders of the Lost Ark,
or the what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
R2D2 is a MacGuffin. He's there and he helps drive the plot, but he's not really important to the plot. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. That's a better way to explain it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's that package is just sort of a MacGuffin. Okay, now here's something I want to. Have you heard of the Tommy Westfall theory?
No.
Okay.
I don't know who Tommy Westfall is though.
Okay, there was a show I think in the 80s called St. Elsewhere, and it's this guy. This guy developed it to point out how people who really think that continuity being the end all be all are kind of stupid. And so in the show St. Elsewhere, I'm pretty sure it's St. Elsewhere. I'll have to look it up.
What is it called?
I think it's Saint Elsewhere.
Saint Elsewhere. Anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
Here, I'm going to send you the link to this. And it's a show where all these different people from different shows like Law and Order and everything else show up. At the end, it turns out the kid was just daydreaming everything, and it's autistic. And it was autistic and sort of just daydreaming everything about this show. But through the idea that, okay, if it's mentioned at all in a show, it's a part of the continuity. Okay, it's same universe. And they've been able to link all the Law and Orders, The Simpsons, Frasier, Friends, Cheers, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Red Dwarf. Like, it's something like 60% of all television shows can be considered to be in this one continuity.
Wow.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting to check out.
That is cool. That'll be in the show notes for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to send you a video. There's a video explaining it that I watched, and it's just like, wow. Who knew that this one show I had never heard of before, it was so important to the world, so to speak.
Cool. We'll try to find that video and put it in the show notes too. In that same vein, if you could choose a single character from TV show or movie to cut out, like if you could just remove it from the universe completely, who would you remove?
Oh man, that's a hard one.
Well, besides the obvious, right?
Which one? Well,
if you take Jar Jar,
yeah, but
then those movies instantly become a lot better.
Take any one person out of a movie or TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. May not be that great of a question.
Well, it's just I watch way too much television.
Yeah, that's why I chose it. That's why I was thinking.
Well, I always have a hard time narrowing it down.
I think if they would remove the guy with the eye patch from The Walking Dead, that whole season with him sucked. I don't think he should have been. Like, that should have been a character at all.
If you could remove Doctor Who from Doctor Who, it would be a much better television show.
What?
Yeah, well, the Doctor from Doctor Who.
Yeah, I've watched it. Thank you. This is a little bit of a nerd podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a better television show. Like,
how? It just randomly, this TARDIS shows up and this chick's like, I'm going to make a phone call to the police. And instead she gets transported to the future and
I don't know,
she has to figure a way.
The Doctor is just, it's very Deus Ex Machina, Hand of God. It's very much or as I like to call it, oh shit, I just blanked on it's IMO writing. No.
You're on your own. Because I don't even know what you're talking about if you got there.
TAMO writing.
Okay, sure. You
Okay,
could have just said been like Bob 4 F2 writing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a joke. There's a math joke where I got this thing from. It's this big long equation. And it works out great. And this guy he's like, well, what's this step here? And it says TAMO. It's like, what does that stand for? Then a miracle occurs. And that's Doctor Who.
Yeah. Okay. But that's a little bit of the Dresden Files too.
Yeah, and it bugs me. It bugs me when they do it.
Yeah, it bugs me a little bit when they do it too.
And even though I did like the Hunger Games books, she was bad about it.
Yeah. It seems to be a hallmark of like really popular, like if it's going to ring with a bunch of people, like if a bunch of people are going to enjoy it, then it usually has to fall into some type of cliche or stereotype.
Well, I mean, they're stereotypes and cliches for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of have you ever listened to the 4 Chords song by Axis of Awesome?
No.
You should hear it. It's fun. I'll send it to you, and if you get a chance, we can put it in the show notes or something.
Okay.
But anyway, I got a little bit of a more fun question.
All right. Shit. I was gonna say something. But yeah, like Doctor Who is one of those shows that I want to like really bad. And I like everything about Doctor Who. I love the setting. I love the iconography. I love how it looks. I just really dislike the show.
Yeah, I've given it 2.5 since, and just couldn't really get drug in at all. Just never could get there. And then after that, I don't give it any after. I stopped watching and never go back.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly used to be really into it too, but now she doesn't really watch it. I've seen a lot of it. After David Tennant left, I was like, meh, pass. And they got rid of Rose and that whole storyline.
Right.
Yeah, she's one of those girls that's, I mean, she's cute, but she's not like that pretty. But God, she did it for me.
Which one? Which one was
Rose? The first, okay, so the new series, right?
Yeah, you like the first one of the new series?
Yeah, the blonde girl with the kind of big teeth.
Yeah, she was alright.
Mm-hmm.
She was alright.
And then the redhead from oh God, can I remember her name? She's actually gotten kind of big time. Karen Gillian is the actress's name. Oh yeah, she's I told Kelly if she ever comes a knocking that she's gonna lose.
Karen what?
Karen Gillian. Hold on, I'll send you a link.
Dun 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 dun. Let's see. And this is the
she was a companion for a while, and now she was in a show Selfie that didn't last very long, which is sad because it was awesome. She played a bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow.
Yeah.
She pretty. Oh yeah, I liked her too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
but I have a thing for redheads, so.
Yeah. Oh, and she's Scottish.
I like gingers. They're cute.
I'm just like nothing much makes me weaker in the knees than a good Scottish accent on a girl. Oh. But to be fair, Kelly's already told me the guys, she's gonna leave me for, so I can't really blame her.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how much the world wants to know about what I think of open relationships or whatever, but I'm not that worried about it.
We were at a bar, and like they were doing a special on JJ Watt, Houston Texan, You know.
Yeah, JJ SWAT. I know who he is. I live here.
I told Kelly, I was like, you know what? If you left me for him, I get it. I'd be bummed out, but I'd understand.
There's just some things that are true.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. That guy's he's a Greek god. Okay, sure. I bet he's got a 12-inch dick, too. What the fuck?
What's crazy is he's like an insanely good hockey player.
Is he really?
Yeah, like
I bet he plays basketball and baseball like an awesome.
Well, he grew up in Wisconsin playing hockey.
No
and
shit.
Then, like, he was really competitive in hockey, then gave it up to play football.
That's cool.
He's good on his skates, especially for a guy who's like, what, 6'10" or something, ungodly huge.
Yeah, but he's also just good on his feet.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, Jay Watt's awesome. He was up for some awards here, right?
What about you? You kind of down a little bit.
Wasn't he up for some award this year?
He finished second in the MVP voting this year.
MVP, that's what they wanted. They let him do some receiving and stuff this year, trying to.
Well, yeah. The thing is, A, some of those catches he made were incredible, and B, he played some tight end in college. It's not like he didn't. They were doing it to be a stunt. Like, he's a little like, he could legitimately be a tight end in the NFL if they wanted him to be.
No, it worked out. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah,
that's not what I want. Yeah, 6'5", 290. God, that guy's a beast.
A beast. What the fuck?
Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Pewaukee.
What's crazy is, like, you know how, like, high school recruits are graded like stars, and like the more stars the better they are. He's only a 2-star recruit. But
really?
He's arguably the best player in the NFL.
He's got a lot of heart.
Well, the thing, especially with like football, like the difference between an 18-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 25-year-old man is
a big difference.
I mean, it's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked how much my body changed, between 20 and 25.
Absolutely.
You really grow into it a bit.
You mature a lot, yeah.
Like how much my shoulders have gotten a lot more broad in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And you start picking up some of that mature man, that old man strength.
Yeah.
Like where you got a real grip. You can hold on to shit, yeah.
My grip strength still sucks. It's like, I'm a pretty, like, all in all, I'm a pretty strong dude, but I cannot grip. It's just not my thing. So I got a question for you. Well, not really a question. Something I want to start doing every podcast. I want to do the Ryan recommends section. And it can be anything. Album, movie, food, restaurant, place, sexual position, anything you want. And I'll give you a recommend too.
Ryan recommends?
Ryan recommends. So what do you recommend?
Okay. Ryan recommends. Let's see. You kind of just threw this one on me. I didn't think of anything. Next week I'll have this one planned though, because if this is going to be a thing, we'll have this figured out for sure. You know what I actually recommend? Ryan recommends that you drive your morning commute to work with the radio turned off.
Let your mind wander.
Well, how often do you spend any time in silence?
It's true.
I mean, honestly, like if anybody that's listening, like a true 30 minutes worth of kind of like mindless just defrag. None of us ever do it hardly any time, ever. And I started doing it when I was like 20. All my morning commutes to work are silent. Now, it's not 100% like meditation. It's not quite as boring and not quite as difficult to pull off. Because Ryan recommends that you actually do 30 minutes of silence alone on your chair, in absolute, silence, where you can just sit and you don't have anything to deal with. because then your mind will really wander and you'll really start to figure some shit out. Some shit that you've been stressing over for maybe years. You'll go, oh, I get the answer. It's because we never spend any time in silence. But if you do it while you're driving, it's achievable and it can have profound effects.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I recommend. What do you recommend, Jake?
This week is actually sort of the inspiration for this thought is I pulled out the Astro Lounge album from Smash Mouth. And I would recommend that if you haven't listened to it ever or been, 10 years or more since you listened to it, go back and listen to that album. It's really good. It's a great it's a great chilling album. There's a lot. In all honesty, All Star is one of the worst songs on the entire album.
I once drunkenly compared that album to the Beatles. Everybody at the party was like, wait, what? I was like, I can't defend it, but I've said it. So there has to be some truth in it.
Okay. That reminds me of something else I want to bring up. Who or what is something you think is either overrated or just not that great? And for me, it's the Beatles. They're not my cup of tea. Like, I understand that they're good and they were seminal for music, but they don't do it for me. That
says more about you than it does the Beatles. Just gonna throw that out there.
And
because the Beatles, they affected almost everything that you've listened to since.
Right, and I understand that. I just
okay, yeah. So people were like, Einstein wasn't that impressive. I can understand his theories, right? And it's like, yeah, but it's a man. That man came up with those theories when they didn't exist, and they did the same thing with music. They came up with music. They still don't write music like they wrote the Beatles songs. The Beatles weren't just rock and roll, and they weren't just. They were really the culmination of the best version of music they had at the time to work with. They work with like violins and they work with all different types of instruments, and they really you should maybe give it another view, or maybe you should smoke a joint and then listen to the Beatles, because I think you're missing out on something. But what do I think is either overrated or underrated, or just overrated?
Just overrated or not that great.
Overrated in general.
Like
overrated Game of Thrones.
Fucking said it.
Fucking said it. Shit's not even. I watched 2 seasons and haven't watched another episode, and that's saying something.
The only reason I could stay with Game of Thrones is I watch it with someone who has read the books.
He's not telling the truth.
Hey, if I want to see tits, I can just look at porn.
Okay, fine, but she does have some pretty titties. Those girls in there are gorgeous. But I think you're right.
Remember when seeing tits was hard?
Yes. Do you remember when we were like going around firewalls and walking and just to see somebody in a wet t-shirt? It was like a big deal. Yeah. Oh. And then you remember that it got real easy and it became real free for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then do you remember where it was like almost impossible because everything became pay for? And you had to give up on the internet for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's all free.
Well, speeds got fast enough to really stream.
Oh, that's fun.
You want to talk about like an industry that has just been destroyed by piracy.
Yeah, but you know what? They actually figured out a way around that. They finally figured out a way around it. The industry was destroyed. That industry was absolutely decimated. All the billionaires and millionaires that were part of it are no longer. But the ones who stayed finally did figure out a way to monetize it. Do you know what it is?
Or like cam shows and stuff?
Yep. It's live shows. You have to do it right now. You can be interactive. Yeah. Have some type of interaction or control over the action. Yeah. There seems to be real investment in that. Which I don't blame them. I mean, for $1, I can control the toy for a minute. You know, how fast it goes or what it does. It's like that. There's some entertainment in that. Not saying I've ever done that, which I haven't, but if I did, I mean, I see the value in it. Or the idea of being able to call up the actress, I don't know, actress is a
performer.
Is a grandiose term. But being able to call the performer up and talk to her in the middle of the scene while she's doing her thing live on a webcam, it's just, that seems
It's that extra level of connection.
That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's being part of it, Yeah, being able to pay your way into part of something that's sexually gratifying. Which for a guy, we have a genetic need. If it's not satisfied, it will find a way to be.
It's very true.
Yeah, tip to all the chicks out there, if you don't want us to cheat on you, give it to us once a week and let us watch porn. And we won't cheat on you. We won't cheat on you.
Or, more, whatever.
No, that's the bare minimum that we won't cheat on you is once a week. And you don't have, and we don't have any pressure on us to make it like seducing and loving and some like 50 Shades of Grey for you. Where you're just like, hey, do you want to get laid? And we're like, yes. And we get laid and we get to watch porn whenever we want. We won't cheat on you. Anything past that will require some effort on your part. You give it to us more. Well, you give it to us more often, and then we'll meet you in the middle with a more appreciative tone. But if we're no good at it, I don't blame you for us for not. I don't blame y'all for not giving it to us more often. I get that. Everybody, it's a yin yang. But if you don't want us to cheat on you, there is a bare minimum. You can't cut us off completely. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That's not how we were designed.
Yeah, and then if she's just bad at it, just break up with her. Like I didn't, for a long part of my life, I was like, how can a girl be bad at sex? And I dated this one girl and found out really quick.
Yeah, I've been with a few. Yep. You know what's funny is I've been with a chick who's really into sex, really enjoys it. Like it's really one of her things, right? But was actually just really, really shitty at it. It's like, you have to spread your legs, right? Like, that like me getting access to that part of you is a thing.
It's a requirement here.
It's a thing. Like, could you just spread your legs just a little bit? Like, stop pushing me away. It's like when you're doggy style, you can't arch up into a ball. The fetal position is not doggy style. Like there's a little bit of a difference between the fetal position and doggy style. And then you can't be mad at me that it doesn't work.
Yeah. There's like the things you're about to say, and you're like, this is gonna go on the internet. Maybe I don't want to say this.
Those
just
are the
in case we do get famous.
Yes, that's absolutely the things you do say on the internet. Because those are the things people want to hear. So,
I did run into a girl once that was like,
I'm a virgin,
but you can put it in my ass.
You're like, I don't think you know what that word means.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I was too drunk to care, but
you're like, hey, that sounds like what? That's an option? I'm gonna have to tell some of my other friends about this.
Yeah, it was one of those nights where, like, I wasn't driving and I was on a mission. Like, I had like shots and beers and car bombs.
Whatever else it took, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was on a mission.
I might have had a little shot of antifreeze at one point. I don't know what I was.
I don't know. It was just it was a Friday night. And I was on a mission to just get wasted, and I accomplished my mission, and somehow drunkenly convinced this girl to come over. All right, which I think is a pretty big accomplishment, being that wasted and still talking to a girl. They're coming over at like midnight. Because at that point, there's only one thing that is.
A booty call.
That's right.
A booty call. So we were talking about recognition and what gets overhyped or underhyped.
Uh-huh.
Kind of in that same idea. Which band do you think deserves more recognition? Like which band do you think was like cooler right now?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. They're getting bigger, but the Gaslight Anthem, one of my all-time favorite bands.
That's an old one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to be huge. I'm trying to think of bands. Greek Fire. They should be huge. They're fantastic.
For as big as Cake is, I wish they'd have made it.
Well, they were
super
pretty
famous.
big in the 90s.
Yeah, but I wish they'd have really made it.
Like U2 style.
Yeah, I wish they'd have.
That's a band that's overrated as well.
Yeah.
Like they're for like. Well, I mean,
they weren't though. They weren't for the longest time.
They weren't for the longest time. Like
Joshua Tree.
Yes,
is a fucking masterpiece of music.
I mean, it's in the top 100 albums of all time. Which is one of my goals, is to listen to the VH1's top 100 albums of all time. I want to listen to that. Maybe it's Rolling Stone. I also want to watch the AFI's top 100 movies of all time.
That'd be fun.
I think I went through it. I think I've seen 30 or so of them already.
Really?
Yeah.
Coming from you, which is you're a music... Whatever, not a music, but what would be the term? Like if you had an audio file, you're like the video version of that.
Aficionado?
I guess so. Whatever you are, you consumed some video media.
Yeah, and some of them, I don't know. Some of them I just don't care to see. But I do love that Toy Story is on the list.
Oh, I finally saw the end of Toy Story 3.
Oh, yeah.
Man, spoiler alert, but I cried.
Okay, when did you cry? Like, in the furnace? Or when he's giving the toy?
No, the furnace, I was... Maybe it's just me, but I was like, there's no way. There's no way this ends this way.
Could you imagine?
And I thought the claw was a cheesy way out. Right? Mm-hmm. Because I was like, where did the aliens, how did they get to the claw? Wait, okay. But I wasn't going to overthink it.
Fair enough.
When I cried, is he unloads the box of toys to give to the girl.
Oh, I know.
Right? No big deal. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a great place for those toys because they already had chose to leave Andie and be donated themselves, and they just happened to end up at a shitty spot. So if they chose an awesome spot like her, which is already demonstrated earlier in the movie that she's awesome with toys, awesome. And then she looks into the box and she goes, my cowboy, right? And he looks in and goes, Woody, right? So Andie grabs Woody out, and I was 7 or 8 when the first Toy Story came out. So I identify with Woody on a real level. Right? Because Woody's about the same age as me, or he's a little younger than I am, but it really rings true. And that moment when she goes to grab Woody out of his hands, and the animators did such an awesome job because he kind of jerks it back before she can grab it, and he has that look of like terror and concern of like, no, you can't have Woody. And in that moment, I realized that Woody had chose to put himself in that box to be with his toy friends, and that Andie was gonna make the decision because I knew the movie was just gonna pan out that way, right? Like, and that's when I cried. I knew that Andie was gonna make the decision to give Woody to this girl. Oh fuck, dude, could hardly handle it, man.
Oh yeah,
Gosh,
I did that
damn.
too. Toy Story turns 20 this year.
I cried. What can I say? I cried. Tears running down my face. Yep. And I'm watching it by myself because my son had already gone to sleep, because the movie ends at 9 and he goes to bed at 8:30. So I'm watching the last 30 minutes of them trying to escape and the fire and not tornadoes, but the furnace, and God damn it. That shit's intense to even talk about now. Because I care about the Woody, man. Like, Toy Story was a big part of my life, right?
Yeah.
I was 10 years old when it came out. And I think he's 7 in the movie, so that kind of makes sense,
Yeah, I need to sit down and I need to take a Saturday and watch them, just 1 to 3.
All 3?
All 3 in a row.
I think it is awesome though that there can be the 4th now. There is no reason that they can't have all of the characters again with her being the her being the guy. Yeah,
I mean, part of me just wants them to leave it alone.
Like, stop.
You put out 3 amazing movies.
How often? Yeah, can you pull it off again?
Just let it be.
Can you get Tim Allen and Woody and Tom Hanks and all the characters? Yeah.
is there anything new? You know, is it really, or is it just going to be a rehash of everything we've already seen? Just let it be. Like that's the thing. I like so many of these movies. I'm just like, you know what? Instead of remaking them, go write something new, and try to be great again. You know, it's it just pisses me off so much. I'm like, just stop it, stop it. You know, like Ghostbusters.
I liked I liked Wreck-It Ralph.
I loved Wreck-It Ralph.
It was new.
It was new. It was funny.
It was cool.
Oh yeah, I loved.
I mean, it kind of had a Tron feel to it, but on a different level. It was fun. Yeah. I loved Wreck-It Ralph. It was a great
Wreck-It
movie.
Ralph. Oh yeah, I knew when he's tearing up the car. Did you not like get all like choked up? Like
yeah.
Like,
no.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh.
Something.
Yeah, that was a good one. But for the most part, there's just no new ideas anymore.
I also enjoyed I guess spoiler alert, but when she's when Ralph was like I don't know. If you haven't seen it yet, just skip the next 45 seconds. But the part where Ralph at the very end, he's trying to set off the volcano for all the bugs to get eaten up by, and he's trying to dive into the Mentos, and he's flying down, and he's got the medal that she gave him, and he's like, "I am a bad guy, and that's what I am, and that's okay." And that whole speech that he gives, and he's sacrificing himself, and he slams in, and it's all falling down. At that moment, dude, I was like emotionally fucking invested. I was like, "Oh my god, what's gonna fucking happen, man?" I was into that movie. It's like if you haven't seen the Dragon movie, How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
When everything's smoke and shadow at the end, and you don't know what happened with him and Toothless and shit. Oh, that suspense is so intense, man. Yeah, same thing for the that movie with Wreck-It Ralph.
Have you seen How to Train Your Dragon 2?
No.
It's better than the first one.
What?
It's better than the first one.
It's better than the first one.
Better than the first one.
And it's not going to make me cry.
Oh,
none of the important people. None of the important people die.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. Yeah, that was the first Blu-ray I ripped with a new machine.
Is what, the How to Train Your Dragon 2?
Yeah, because I knew it was a newer one. I wanted to see how long it would take because the newer ones seem to be bigger.
They recommend, God damn it, I'm trying to remember. I think it's Wally.
Wally. Yes, Wally's
I think it's
beautiful.
Wally that you're supposed to test your systems with.
Yeah. It's nice because to rip and compress, because I use two different softwares, it's about 45 minutes to rip and compress an entire Blu-ray now, and it used to take me like 3 hours.
Okay. Wow, what are you using? Oh, the new GPU can do it so much faster?
Yeah, and I'm using I'm using Make MKV to rip, which is super simple. Like, if you want to rip something, Make MKV is the way to do it.
Okay.
And it's free. And then Handbrake to compress.
What is Handbrake?
It's like video conversion compressing software. It's free too.
Okay.
Like some of these softwares, like why do you do this for free? You know, at least I guess they ask for donations, but like some of these softwares are really incredible and they're free. I'm like, man, I hope you have free time. Because it's like a full other job, just maintaining all this stuff for free.
Yeah, I don't understand how some people find inspiration for what they do at all. Like, I'm a real big fan of Reddit, and there's some people that are on Reddit, and it's like, how are you on every thread? How are you first comments on every important thing that makes it to the front page? Is this your job? Like, what are you doing? Or the people on World of Warcraft?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how are you getting 16 hours a day into this? Like, how are you this much further ahead in gear? Or that's why I quit playing that game. It was, and then when they finally made it simple enough that the average guy who, like me, who could play 1 or 2 hours a day and maybe 3 hours in the afternoon could actually keep up with the average player, I found it no longer to be fun. There wasn't anything mythically legendary to attain. It's like I could attain everything. There was a part of me, there was a part of me that was very frustrated that I couldn't have some of the gear that the 16-hour a day guys could have. But there was also a part of me that thought it was awesome that it existed.
Right.
You wanted to be able to walk up and inspect those guys and be like, gosh damn, that is fucking amazing. You wanted to be able, there was something inspiring about it. But I don't know. That's
MMOs are slowly going the way of the buffalo, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, except that World of Warcraft has 10 million subscribers still.
But it's been declining over the years.
It has, except that it's increased over the new expansion pack. They've gained like 2 or 3 million subscribers.
Huh.
It went up. It was down to like 7. Yeah, it went down to 7 and is now up to 10.
Did you see the statue that Blizzard gave the 10-year people?
What?
Okay, for people who had, because they just turned.
If you had a vanilla account. What they call a vanilla. If you'd have bought the first before the first expansion. You got what? You
got this, like
some type of a pet you could have summoned.
Like a no, like a. They sent you a physical like statue.
In real life?
Yeah.
You got an item?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. What did it look like? Was it a statue? What? Hang on. I guess it'll be in the show notes. There's a link. World of Warcraft 10-year anniversary.
Here you go. This is the easiest one right here. Check that link.
Oh. All right.
Show it to the people on the camera. See? Wow, super huge.
So this is that link to the statue?
Yep.
So this is what you got from being 10-year anniversary?
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's like who is that? Thrall?
I have no idea. I'm not a WoW guy.
Oh my god. Okay, so so if you are a WoW person, it's an orc riding a mount, which is looks like the battle wolf. And it's a bronze statue, and it looks like it came in a commemorative case. 2004, 2014, 10-year anniversary. He's got an axe and hell, I can't tell what's in the other hand. But anyway, it's fucking badass. Check it out. It'll be in the show notes.
Yep. Man, these next 2 days of work are gonna be terrible. Like
is it gonna get colder?
Well, no, it's just like I've been having a hard time focusing at work recently, and then it's only 2 days, and I'm starting a new project, so there's some I can get done, but not a ton. Like when I'm starting a new project, I really need a solid week just to go nuts on this thing. And so, but then I'm going to be out for at least a week with my shoulder. And I'm just like, oh, God, I should just like take 2 vacation days and just be done with it.
I can't wait till we get to mess with you on painkillers. All loopy and shit. That's going to be fun as shit. Look forward to that next week, gentlemen. Ladies.
Well, I should be on the downhill side.
Save a few.
Okay.
Save a few.
But I will most likely still be in the sling, so I'll be like this, Hey man, narcotics don't touch me. Like I gotta have some serious shit to.
You're like I am, man. The night I shattered my shoulder and I'm in the ER room when they finally looked at the X-rays. The doctor comes in and goes, "Oh man, you must be in real pain. I'm totally sorry that we made you wait this long. I'm gonna give you a shot of morphine. You're gonna be feeling okay." And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, awesome, right? You know, that's the stuff that gave the guy in Saving Private Ryan right before he died. You know, so I'm excited. I'm like, how awesome is morphine? They give you the shot, and it does feel like a warm bath. Your whole body's like, oh, awesome. But even with a full shot of it, it barely knocked the pain out. Like, I still could feel it. It didn't bother me. I was still okay. It's not like, yeah, when it comes to hard narcotics, me and you are on the same ballpark. You know, that's why we don't do those kind of drugs. It'd be way too expensive and not effective enough.
So, you remember when I broke my arm the second time?
I was watching it.
Yeah. And
I watched it happen. You fell off, or you didn't actually fall off the rail. You just kind of stepped over it and did a cartwheel. Not even really a cartwheel, just kind of like a stuntman's roll. It was real, I don't know, every day for us back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, it happened all the time. And you rolled upside down and you stood up and you're like, not again. And I'm like, not again. You had a wrist,
yeah.
What were those called?
Wrist brace, yeah, like a brace.
Yeah, a wrist guard.
Yeah.
You had a wrist guard on. And you pulled the wrist guard off, and your arm made a goddamn U. You could have put like water in it. It just went straight and then down and then straight back up and then straight again. I was like, holy shit. And you were like, I think you should call my mom. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on it. And then they rushed you off to the emergency room.
So we go to the ER, and they finally get me in there after like an hour and a half because, you know, it's the ER. And they gave me a shot of morphine.
This is about 4.5 inches up from your wrist.
Yeah.
Both bones.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Clean break. Like,
yep.
Just
straight down.
Break.
Yep.
So it requires moving back. So it's straight again.
Right.
But after an hour and a half and sitting in the waiting room, your body's decided that, well, this is a good enough spot. Let's go ahead and start repairing.
Right. And so they gave me a shot of morphine.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me another one.
Right.
So I'm at 2, still in pain.
Because you're kind of hard-headed about narcotics.
Yes. And then they're like, okay, we're going to give you this stuff. And this is a quote. It's going to be like drinking 15 beers in 5 minutes. You're not going to remember anything, and we're going to set your arm. So they put this stuff in me.
Okay. He says set your arm like it's no big deal. But what that requires is setting him down on a table, locking his wrist in a position and locking his shoulder in another position, and then moving that said bone that was broken earlier so they're straight.
Right.
Okay, so so the drug works in a way that it doesn't actually kill the pain.
It just impairs your memory of it.
It doesn't stop any of the experience, but the idea is that the next day when you wake up, you don't remember. There's no trauma.
Mm-hmm. So 2 shots of morphine and this drug in me. Mm-hmm. And the doctor, you know, they get me in there. You know, there's like 2 nurses, and the doctor comes up underneath and starts pushing up on these bones.
So your hand's up in a sling. Your wrist
actually,
is in a sling.
I don't know. Maybe I was in a sling, but I'm pretty sure I was just being held.
The description of the story, right? Because your wrist is being held in a sling, and then they're holding the wrist, and your doctor's pushing.
Right, and it's like 1, 2, 3, nothing.
Push with all your might.
No, it was nothing. Nothing happened.
Right, but it's push with all your might.
Right. Even he's going after.
So you get the experience. Nothing happens.
Right, and so now I'm starting to hurt really bad. 2 shots of morphine and this drug in me, right?
Spoiler alert. He's supposed to not remember the story. He's the only one there that witnessed it.
My dad was there too, but we never. And so the doc, he goes at it again. And he goes, you know, it's push, nothing. Like nothing moves. And the doctor. 2 times.
This guy needs torture. Just like you could literally tell you if you wore women's underwear at this point.
Right. And I hear the doctor go, huh. Like he's like a frustrated grunt. He gets another nurse in there and repositions himself to where he's pretty much on top of me.
But this is supposed to be okay because you're not supposed to
remember any of it. And he goes and he gets more on top so he can come down on me.
And I think at this point you're crying into your dad's shoulder, right? Like he's holding
Yeah,
on to
yeah,
you and
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like bawling, like, "Hey, you've got to stop, doc." And it's like, "No, it's okay. You won't remember this."
Right, it's bad. It's bad. Like, cause I mean,
Yeah.
it's he's been pushing on these two bones, and so third time his put. It was a literal 3 count. It was 1, 2, 3, pop.
3 nurses, a doctor, and 2 bones.
My dad said it sounded like a gun going off. My
Cock.
Yeah, my vision goes foof to about this big, and
Go
then it
white.
comes back out. It wasn't white; it was black. It just like full on
Okay,
blackout.
just black out.
And they give me another shot of morphine, and I'm just laying there. And I should not be feeling anything. I have 3 shots of morphine in me, and I'm just laying there in pain, just like sobbing. It was the most painful experience of my life.
And
It's
he
like,
described it in detail the next day to me.
yeah.
He's like, "That drug they gave me didn't work for shit."
And so so yeah, that's another. And I also am very tolerant to anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you the story about like my wisdom teeth?
No.
So I guess it was 2 Novembers ago. I need to get my wisdom teeth taken out. And like, it's no big deal. We'll just come in, numb you, get you out of here. And they couldn't get me numb. Like, I was on nitrous for an hour and a half and 2 doses of Valium.
Wow.
And they still couldn't get me numb. They
Yeah,
had to send me to a surgeon to knock me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Valiums don't do shit to me, dude.
I was fucked up. Like, I slept for 2 days
Yeah, like 2 Valiums will get me kind of goofy feeling, and then when I do go to sleep, I'm kind of out of it. But it's not like most people.
it was terrible. That's why I'm always like, especially with the surgery coming up, I'm always worried. Like, granted, I've never had an issue when they're knocking me out. Like, they're gonna knock me out completely under. I've never had an issue, but I've always
Yeah,
worried about it because I've been under 6 times, 7 times. This will
when
be
they
number
gave me
8.
when they gave me my shoulder, they were gonna knock me out, and I was hyper paranoid about it. And I was always told that they would tell you like count backwards from like 10 to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened to me. What happened to me is my doctor leaned over me and he goes, "All right, man, you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, well, here you go." And he shoots the stuff. And then I woke up. Like, I don't even remember. I don't anything. Like, he just shot it in there and I was almost instantly gone.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna have some issues. Like, like even though I've done it so many times, it's still like every time, like I get really scared. Like
I
it's
almost
just,
had a panic attack. I was hyper nervous.
and I still have like I've been MRI'd plenty of times. Get stuck down that little tube, and like even though I've done it, it still gets to me sometimes.
I don't blame you.
Like,
Yeah, we're not meant to do that.
um, like I'm looking forward to being done with the surgery and being recovered, but I mean, I'm scared. Like, it scares me. It scares me a lot. And I know it shouldn't, but it does. Hmm. Hmm.
You want another question?
Sure. Then we'll round it out with this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, why not? We've been going for quite a while.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Um, let's see. Then I'll try to make it more fun. What rare event in history were you part of?
What rare event in history was I a part of?
Mm-hmm. Were you at any great basketball or football games?
Well, we were both kind of involved in 9/11.
You know, the one that I thought of that we were both part of, that not many people can ever claim ever, even in history.
What's that?
is we both experienced the millennium.
Yeah.
We were both awake for that. We were both not just awake and existing, but like conscious. We were 19 or 18 or whatever it was.
We were
We were
15.
kind of aware. We were 15.
We were
Whatever.
15.
We were kind of aware though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of knew that it was happening.
Right.
That was fun. That was a big deal. You remember how amazing the sound was at midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like the world was ending.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did. And this is just like a delusion that someone's having. Maybe the nuke really went off.
Is it your delusion or mine then?
I don't know. Maybe it's someone else's and we're just players. Maybe we were on the great stage. Because there's that theory that we're just, we're holograms in someone else's reality.
Right.
That
because if you took all of the matter, the actual matter, the things that can't bump into anything else kind of matter, of all of the humans that ever existed and compressed them into a ball, it would only be the size of a baseball.
That makes sense.
Which only makes sense if you're all holograms. If you're mostly nothing.
We are mostly water.
But we're not even mostly water. We're mostly nothing. Because of the things that make up water are mostly nothing.
Right, that makes sense.
The atoms in water are 99.9% nothing. Just electronic fields interacting with other electronic fields. And at this point, I'm ready for bed.
Well, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful night. And thank you once again for coming to 42.
Absolutely.
They don't, I haven't seen really that many bad roads, but I've heard it really depends on what township you're in. Because the towns do their own road maintenance and stuff.
Oh, I see.
Highways,
okay.
The highways are in good shape.
Really? Okay. Well, I guess they're just used to it.
Yeah. And one of the things is here is they don't get the extreme temperature changes, which makes the roads a lot easier to deal with, and they don't break as much. Because it really causes a lot of road issues is really hot and then really cold. Because it has something to do with the mix between concrete and asphalt. And like, if it gets colder, you want more concrete, but if it's warmer, you want more asphalt or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, the expansion and the cooling and the difference. It makes sense. I mean, I'm no scientist, but you could explain it to me and I'd be like, yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, the thing I have to get used to here is like the temperatures don't swing a lot like they do, especially in Oklahoma. So in Oklahoma, it wouldn't be too uncommon to see like lows in the 30s and highs in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Here it's like
that here.
Low in the 20, high in the 30. Like it's a much smaller window than I'm used to seeing.
So, how was work this week?
Oh yeah, that was a thing. I've had a hard time focusing the last couple of days because I got my shoulder surgery scheduled.
Don't lie about your excuses. It's because you got a new computer.
Hey.
Go on, tell everybody what you got.
Let's see. We ordered the rest of our components.
He's been working on this rig for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's a 4 gigahertz AMD 8-core overclock edition, whatever that means. An Asus motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM, DDR3 RAM, a 4 terabyte 7200 RPM drive, a 16x Blu-ray with Corsair water cooling system,
nice,
which was worth the money.
Nice.
That temperature never gets high on the box. Yeah. It's kind of funny. My wife was pissed because she could only play the new Assassin's Creed because I got her the game for Valentine's Day. And she could only play it on very high and not ultra high. She was very upset.
Yeah, that ultra high pushes some that requires top of the line stuff.
It's gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just gorgeous.
even on high though, it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And you know what? If you go into customs, you can turn a lot of that stuff up to ultra high. There's just a few things you can't, and that's what's holding you back when you go to ultra high.
Right.
So you can go in there and turn like I don't know. I don't know. You can go in there and turn stuff up. That I find that the shadows is usually what kills me.
Yeah, but during the summer, that's when it's going to be great.
Do you think that you have more, on average, like per year, better temperature days than we do?
What I would consider better temperatures, yes.
Right. Well, yeah, like that classic like 70 to 85 degree sunny. You know, just that good.
Maybe.
Because it's 74 today.
Wow, that's warm.
Yeah.
Like I think it's been above 40 like 5 days since I moved here.
It's when what?
I think it's been above 40 like 4 or 5 times since I moved here in October.
No, thank you.
I don't know. I like it, but I like the cold. So it's all about dressing right. Once you get the clothes, like the right clothes for it, it's not a big deal.
Right, like there's no such thing as bad weather. There's just inappropriate clothing and inadequate inadequate forms of transportation.
Pretty much, but I mean, don't get me wrong. When it's snowy and really windy, like it was yesterday, like we were getting like a mini whiteout yesterday. That's bad. There's no getting around it. That's just terrible.
Yeah, was it snowing real bad?
Oh yeah, it was. Like I said, it was basically a whiteout for about 20 minutes. Like we were sitting at a restaurant, and we looked outside, and we could barely see the cars in the parking lot.
You know, one of my favorite things about driving in the snow is like when it starts to snow, it's like engage warp drive because the snow's all coming towards you like something out of a Star Wars scene when you're taking off.
This doesn't show it super well, but you can kind of see how snowy it was.
Is that at the restaurant?
Yeah.
Damn. Do you drive home in that?
No, we waited.
What happens if it doesn't stop snowing?
Well, eventually you get out, but it wasn't supposed to, check the radar. It wasn't supposed to stick around for too long, so.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think whatever you got yesterday turned into a little bit of rain for us today and dropped the temperatures from 80 to 74.
Dropped.
Yeah, rough life.
Oh, but, I mean, luckily up here, they know how to handle the snow. Like, they were scraping our road, like, every hour and a half. Big old trucks with scrapers.
Do they scrape the concrete, or do they leave, like, a little bit of... I've always wondered that. Is there, like, a layer of slippery shit, or do they scrape it all the way to the concrete?
They scrape it and salt it.
So the roads are just replaced all the time, or just shitty?
Oh, no, they're pretty good. Yeah. I mean,
Dynamic shadows.
I probably went middle road with the graphics card because, you can spend a lot of money on a graphics card.
Yep, I'm saving up currently for a 980.
Nice. We went with the
$700.
Ooh, yeah, ours is 2.
But I really want to play. Yeah, that's what my last rig cost. But I really want to be able to play GTA 5 on 4K.
Yeah,
and it comes out of the box supporting it.
I've got a friend. He said that with the way graphics cards have progressed recently, and the way how graphics are, he says that like that graphics card will last you 10 years before it is outdated.
If you can, once you get finally into the 4K realm, I don't think there's no reason to really go much past that. And I'm willing to spend the extra money to get the NVIDIA, and a name brand NVIDIA. And I'm gonna eventually invest in the G-Sync monitor, so it synchronizes the frame rate with the GPU and the monitor, so you no longer get that mid tears in the center of the screen when the GPU sends half information from one frame while hang on, let me explain it. So the screen will refresh its frame rate in the middle of the GPU sending the information for the frame. So you'll get half of the old frame and half of the new frame, and you'll see that little black line in the middle, and that's called screen tear. Well, NVIDIA sells NVIDIA with the new more expensive cards have what they call G-Sync, and you can get monitors that have G-Sync, and it synchronizes the frame rate with the GPU's frame rate. So when it comes out, each frame comes out at the same time that the screen is refreshing, so you no longer get any screen tear. No shutter, no screen tear, none of that stuff. It just makes everything ultra smooth. 60 frames is actual 60 frames.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that. But it makes a 24-inch monitor, that's normally like, say, $100. With a GeForce, not the GeForce, but the G-Sync, try 400.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, we in preparation for this, when we bought a new TV, a while ago now, we bought the LG with the IPS technology in it.
I'm glad you went with the LG. They're good.
Yeah, but have you seen the IPS stuff?
Nope, I'm not sure what that is.
It basically turns the television into a monitor. So it recognizes that it's plugged into a computer, and it changes its properties to update and refresh for a computer and not regular media or DVD or something. It's really cool stuff, and it does help with ours because we do run a lot of stuff off of it.
Do you know what resolution your screen at? Is it like the enhanced resolution so you can see monitor text real clean?
Oh yeah, you can see it fine.
That's cool.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 42, the place where we will always believe in the need for drums and guitars and desperate poetry. And right now, with our good friend Ryan, the host with the most. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. It's currently -3 degrees in western Pennsylvania.
So you owe somebody temperature?
Yeah.
You owe something? Like, how does that even work? It's -3? The system's messed up when you owe something. It's like -3?
It is -3, yes. It's rather cold outside.
What does that mean? So it's like 3 degrees below
zero.
And 0 is relative to what?
It's 32 degrees below freezing.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so you owe temperature.
Yes. It's my cold out. It wasn't too bad earlier today because it was all sunny and it was like 8, but
8.
Yeah, I had to get out and
like, isn't a single snowman?
Yes, I had to go and snow blow my driveway. Yes, I own a snow blower.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is that like, okay, so that's kind of like a garden tiller, but it and a vacuum combined?
No, it what it does is it's sort of
more like what are those things that you shove logs into, right?
No,
a shredder.
How this one works is kind of it's actually about the size and weight of like a push behind lawnmower.
Okay, right.
And ours will do up to 6 inches. So if it's over 6 inches, we're boned. We're just screwed. So, but this one, so you push it, and it kind of propels itself, and it picks up snow, and it has a chute on the top that shoots snow out. And it'll shoot it at probably about 3 feet, depending on the type of snow. So, and our driveway is really steep. It's like 8 degrees, so we have to blow it to get up the driveway.
What if it's frozen? How do you do that?
We're screwed. If it's going to be really bad, we park our cars at like the top of the hill, like in our yard at the top.
Isn't -3 degrees bad?
Well, yeah, but it's not snowing. It's just cold.
Okay. I won't tell you what temperature it is here.
So that's what like
Unless you want to know.
Everyone's been like, oh, it's because I have a lot of my friends down in Texas, and like they're like, oh, it's 60 degrees. I'm like, well, when it's 110 in the summer for y'all, we're and it's 85 here. I think the average high here in August is like 87 degrees or something like that. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we get it back during the summer. It might be kind of miserable during the winter. And we got our media center running, which is awesome. We're using Kodi, which used to be called XBMC. Looks fantastic. We have almost have a terabyte of data. We have over a terabyte on it already. So that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, you mean like 2 Blu-ray DVDs or Blu-rays?
No.
How much are there? Like 5 gigs for Blu-ray?
Depends.
8 gigs, 32 gigs. What is it? Like a lot, right?
The straight pure rip is about, depending on the movie, between 10 and 26 gigs.
Right.
There's a lot
That's
of
a
stuff.
lot.
There's a lot of stuff in there that you can pull out though that brings down the size, but then I recompress them with Handbrake, which is a lossless form. You can do the MKV, which is lossless, and I can get down to about 4 gigs of Blu-ray.
So you can compress, let's just say 10 gigs down to 4 gigs and not lose any information?
Nope.
Okay. How is that? Is that because it's transferring the information into a code that the algorithm recognizes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And that's just the basics, like Stupid Man version. Okay.
Yeah,
that's just how somebody would recognize it. Okay. All right. Whatever. That's cool then.
Yeah, so
So you have a terabyte of a 4 gigs worth of Blu-ray DVDs? Or do you have songs?
Most of it's TV shows that I've been collecting.
You're such a hoarder of TV shows and stuff like that. Like of digital content, you're definitely a hoarder.
I have up to the most recent season of The Simpsons. Every other season beside the most recent.
Forget that you can get it on free on a website somewhere. It's like, no. I have it. I don't have to worry about that website. Like, fuck that website. It doesn't have to be up for me.
I have all of South Park. Except for the most recent season. Batman the Animated Series.
Do you have the South Park with the Muhammad in it?
Yes, I do.
Is it unedited or the edited?
Well, 200 and 201, which were the big episodes that they were going to release, those were never unedited. You cannot get those. But
is there a version that exists somewhere in somebody's closet or drawer that's unedited?
Probably.
Like they created it unedited, right?
I would guess so, but it's never been released and it's never been leaked.
Wow.
But there's an episode in season 4 called Super Best Friends.
Yeah.
And Muhammad's in that one. And for 5 years or longer, Muhammad was in the opening credits of South Park.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the background.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Super Best Friends. Do you remember David Blaine, the street magician guy?
Yeah, absolutely. The guy that also did the ridiculous feats of human endurance and stuff.
Right. Well,
held his breath for like 14 minutes or something.
I think